Well, welcome back to another Summit Conversations video. This week, I'm really excited to actually take you behind the scenes, like a full-on look at what I'm doing and what I'm making of my course creation process. I am not going to sit here, though, and say that this is the way to do it. It's just what works for me. And honestly, working on new things like this, that I see so much potential in brings me so much joy. Like, I am all about new projects, especially new projects that I truly see an impact in. So I'm going to walk you through as much as I can from this process, from like where the idea came from. I'm going to show you like my Asana setup, what I've used, what I've done in Google Docs, including like going through some revisions. I'm going to show you what I've been using AI for. Like, I'm going to show you all kinds of stuff. So I hope it's interesting, but I want to start at the beginning and kind of explain like where this idea comes from and where my ideas do come from. First, I'll give you a little background on this offer though, so you kind of have the context of it before I start, blabbering on about it. The course I'm working on is called the Ultimate Summit Speaker Handbook. So this is essentially going to be a course for summit hosts to purchase licenses for to give their speakers. So it's going to help the speakers get like really solid results from participating in summits while also leading to better results for the summit host, since so many speakers don't even know what a summit is, don't know how to make the most of an opportunity, don't know how to market themselves, and we need to fix that, right? So that's what it is. Let's go to the beginning. Where did I get this idea? So I never force my ideas. Okay, I am not sitting in ChatGPT being like, what course should I make next? I've like seen lots of like custom GPTs or whatever being advertised for like, figure out your next course idea. I'm not doing that. Like, I watch the industry. I notice a need from my people. I'm not just going to make it up. Like, nothing good has ever come from me forcing a product that is not being asked for. Like, even if those asks aren't explicit, if I don't see a need, I'm not going to make something. So first I noticed the need for this course. And I was going to like give you a behind the scenes look for that, but I think I'll save it for an email. In the next couple weeks, I will send an email just sharing a behind the scenes look at where the idea for this course came from. Right now, you can trust me in that there was a need for it. I've been noticing for the past couple years, and it just didn't seem like the right time to make it until now. And I really go off of gut feelings as well. Like, I'm not going to force it. I'm going to wait until the timing seems right. Like, there's another course I've been wanting to make for about a year now. It's been on my radar, but the timing hasn't been right yet. This course idea had been sitting on the shelf for a while, but a couple weeks ago, it just hit me that like, now is the time. So once I dive in, I like to start with a project plan. So this is one that a team member set up. I would typically, if I was mapping out a brand new course, I would typically make a whole new Asana project. She did it in a task, and I'm fine with that. It still works, right? So she came in and mapped out a lot of the stuff we need to do, the outline, the name and tagline, everything involved in making the content, which we are pre-selling this program. So once we get to the actual creation phase, I'll be coming in here and adding tons more like tasks and subtasks so that every single lesson has like brainstorm, make outline, make slides, record, edit, upload, every single lesson will have all of that. Right now it's just in here, and that's good enough because we're going to pre-sell. We're not going to actually make it until we sell enough for me to be like, okay, yes, people want this. So we have all the tasks related to actually creating the product and setting it all up. So this is what my team member created, and I was like, oh wait, we're missing a bunch of stuff. So I came in here and added all this pre-sale stuff where I'm deciding on pricing, starting to tease it out, building sales pages, doing the automations, all kinds of stuff that actually goes with selling a product. This is not the most organized project plan I've ever created, but it has enough pieces where we're going to be able to go through just fine because we have so much experience, I guess, creating new products. So from there, I go into brainstorming kind of like the overall positioning and messaging from the standpoint of like, what exactly am I trying to help people with here? What are their struggles? What problems do I need this to solve? Because I can't figure out what I'm going to make, what content is needed if I don't know what the point of it is. So I kind of go through that. And for this, I like to pull actual words from my people. Again, I see like so many people doing all of this work in AI now, and I think you just miss so much by not going to your actual audience. So I pulled past surveys. I made some posts on Instagram stories in my Facebook group to pull real stories, struggles, experiences from my actual audience. And that let me go into the outlining, the creation part of this, knowing exactly what kinds of problems needed to be solved. And from there, I just start with kind of a messy outline brain dump type thing of any ideas that are coming to mind that I want to include. So this is what my document looked like at this point. I just went through, and this is actually this is the first non-empty revision I can show you. I'm guessing it was more empty than this to start, but eventually I did my brain dump and then started organizing things into categories of the different kinds of things I knew I needed to include in this offer. And this was all based on just my own knowledge from hosting summits, my own knowledge with speaking, my own experience with producing a client summit, what I knew was coming up for my people and what would be helpful for them. All of this was just based on my knowledge, which you should be able to do if you're making a good course about something. You should be able to get a very good start at an outline by yourself. Then for the first time ever, I did take this over to AI. I said, here's what I'm planning to include. Is anything missing? And I copy and pasted everything I was going to include. And it gave me some suggestions, some of which were like just totally unnecessary. One, I was like, okay, this is interesting, but what the heck do you mean? I was like, what would you suggest for the networking strategy guide? Like, I like the sound of it, but what are you talking about? So I thought that was interesting. I incorporated pieces of this because I think it's a good point, but this is like pretty intense. And then from there, I said, here's an updated list of what I plan to include. I copy and pasted it in. It's not showing because it was so long. I said, can you organize this into a course format and suggest names of modules, lessons, and resources? Because these are all great ideas, but they all need to be actually, more solid names and more well-positioned things. And that was like really helpful. There's a lot of them I didn't like. Like we could even see further down here. I don't remember where exactly it was, but I was like, can you provide other options for this one? Like lead generation mastery. Like I would never say that. So like it definitely needed some refinements as I went, but it was like so helpful. And here is kind of what it looked like afterwards, where I took what it spit back out at me, added my own thoughts. I started adding like different points I wanted to cover in each of the lessons and modules, added my little what are these called? Legends up here for what all of my icons and color coding and stuff like that means, and came up with a really solid outline fairly quickly. And I'll show you the final version of this at the end here. From there, once I felt good about my outline, I knew that I wanted to start like teasing this on social media like as soon as possible. I wanted people to know about this. I was going to have a quick turnaround launch. I didn't want it to be like, surprise, I made a thing, right? I wanted people to know it was coming. I wanted to be able to gather their feedback, questions, stories, whatever, as we were going so I could adjust and add to it as needed. So I went back to ChatGPT and started brainstorming the name and tagline. It took 60 name suggestions to get what I was looking for. I said, can you help me come up with a name? Okay, how about we actually include Summit Speaker or Summit Speaking in the name? It's trying to be all creative or whatever, and I'm not about that. I said, okay, I'm thinking something like this. What do you think there? It gave me a whole bunch more names, and finally we got something. And then for the tagline, I kind of gave an example of a tagline I was thinking of that wasn't very refined and started going through options. I changed the positioning of the suggestions it was giving. Said, let's try again. You don't have to use sought after this time unless it really flows, and kind of told it what I wanted the tagline to be highlighting. And eventually we got there. I asked it to add a little piece at the end with an example of what I was thinking. Basically, I just wanted my ideas refined, and it did a great job. So eventually we got to the name and tagline. Let me see if I can go back here. So here's where we finally ended up with the name and tagline, and here's what the final outline is looking like right now. So I have all of what I think will be the final lessons and modules kind of outlined. I have notes for myself of what I want to include in each one. This will stay like this until I actually begin creating the content, where I'm sure once I'm recording lessons and outlining them, I'll be like, okay, actually I want this broken up, or this is missing, or this seems like way too much information. Things will start getting moved around as I actually record, but this is what we're going to move forward with. This lines up with the outcomes I want to create through the course. So with that, the content is as ready as it's going to be at this point, which means I need to focus on pre-selling. It's no small feat. When you think pre-sale, you probably think like, oh, it's easier than a launch. At least the way I'm doing it, it's pretty much a full-on launch. The content's just not made yet. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to go through the work of making all this. Like I go all in when I make programs. I don't want to go all in on this if I'm the only one who is like yes, we need this. I don't want to make all of this and have like 3 people buy. So I pre-sale to actually prove my offers, and then I go to town with creating it. My pre-sale goals aren't huge. I think if 20, 30 people grab it, that's going to be all I need to go ahead and make it. But I just want to be sure so I'm not wasting my time and my team's time and all that stuff. So that's that with the content. From there, I started just kind of jumping around to whatever felt good to me at the time. So next I started brainstorming. Next I worked on the waitlist page. So I set up this waitlist page so I could start promoting it on social media. Very simple. Just grab some testimonials, added in, name, tagline, why they'd want to join the waitlist, have a simple email set up on the back end and called it good. And then from there, I moved into mapping out some of the pre-launch and promo content. So I have a content calendar I like to use. And I just started kind of sprinkling in emails and posts and stuff where it made sense. Some of them, when I felt really inspired, I brainstormed and did a rough draft of the whole post or email or whatever. And that was a fun thing to do. And I'm still going back actually on a regular basis and adding more to the emails, refining what I'm writing, writing one at a time here and there and things like that. I also paused somewhere in there to figure out pricing. It was kind of a challenge. This offer is going to be priced differently than anything else I've ever offered because all of my other programs are like single license. You're buying it for yourselves, but this is different. Like hosts are going to be buying it for their speakers, and the pricing was a challenge because of that. Like they're buying it for someone else, but they will benefit through it. But how much will they realize that? There's lots of mindset hurdles for me to jump over when I'm trying to figure out the pricing here. But I also think that's part of the beauty of doing a pre-sale is that I can go lower than I want to because it's pre-sale pricing. It's supposed to be special pricing. I can see how it's received. I can get feedback and testimonials and things to beef it up. I can make updates to the pricing and the structure from there. But for the pricing, I decided on 4 pricing options. Some people might say that's too many choices. I think it's necessary for this offer. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to have a single use license. So if a speaker finds this and wants to buy it for themselves, they can do that for a reasonable price. On the flip side, I'm going to have an unlimited license where a host who is hosting summits in an industry where speakers just don't understand summits and they're doing a lot of it, they can give this to as many speakers as they want. And we have some in between. I'm going to have a couple options where they can buy a set number of licenses for their speakers. And I'm letting my team figure out how in the world we're going to manage that. I have the ideas. They're hopefully going to figure it out. I have faith in them. It's going to be fine. But next up, I wrote the sales page copy. So I got a course that helps me with AI stuff. So I did use AI for the sales page. I'm kind of terrified to admit that. However, I will say that I will continue to use my amazing copywriter, Nadine from Can Do Content, in the future, and especially for our main programs. I just needed this copy literally in a week, and that would certainly not work for her. But I'm happy with what I was able to come up with for now. I may hire her for a VIP day in the future, be like, can you make this better? Let's make this, more our style. That was that. And then after I had that, my project right now is building on the sales page. So I am working on this. I'm really trying to not go nuts with it. I just duplicated one of our other sales pages and I'm updating it with the content. I'm not having my designer create a whole bunch of mock-ups and images and icons and things like that for this version. I even argued with myself, should I make an actual sales page or should it just be in a Google Doc? But I want it to be a sales page. So I'm trying to make a simplified sales page and not let it take my whole life. Today will be day 2 of working on it. I think I worked on it 2 hours yesterday. So really not bad. It's going to be fine. So looking ahead, we're getting there, right? We still have some tech setup and automations to do to get ready for the pre-sale, but I'm going to leave that to Kate and Jen on my team. I'm also going to be out of the office for a week starting next Thursday. So my goal before I'm gone is to get the rest of the pre-launch content scheduled and ready to go out, to test purchases and everything that needs to happen, because the day I come back after a completely unplugged trip is going to be launch day. At least that's the plan. So I want to make sure we are totally ready before I leave to go ahead and do that. Of course, my team can be scheduling content and doing these final little tweaks while I'm gone, but anything that needs to be tested, I want to be able to test, so that needs to happen before I'm out. But that's my process. It's basically a bunch of strategizing, brainstorming, refining, all of that on repeat. It's always led to pretty great programs before, and I'm excited to do it again with the Ultimate Virtual Summit Speaker Handbook. And I hope this is a fun behind the scenes. You can leave a comment if you have any questions about the process. Like I said, it's not the way to do it. It's not the prettiest way to do it, but it works for me. I'm having fun with it. And I hope it was interesting for you to see.